Hey everybody, pardon the awkward camera angle, but this is the best I can do in my shop here with my phone. Got it rigged up with a clamp and a little piece of pipe. Anyways, I went looking for how to sweat a pipe, and there's not too much out there. There's like 50 million different ways to do it. And my dad had showed me when I was a kid, but I kind of forgot over the years, and I haven't had much call for it since they came out with SharkBites and PEX. And then I realized it's just like a whole bunch of little different ideas on PEX too, but integrating the two in one system is not really out there so much. So what I want to do is show how I do it. Right, so here we got an old scrap piece. You see, this is where my blowout was. I was on vacation and I came home to a busted pipe, and my in-laws told me that they had to turn off the water. That was the best they could do while I was gone. So I spent the day yesterday doing the emergency repairs and then going back and upgrading a couple things today. So step number one is always to warm things up. Alright? You gotta sand with emery cloth. I'm using an old piece of sandpaper here so I don't waste my emery cloth because I'm trying to do this for, like, you know, without incurring costs. So an old piece of sandpaper, it'll do it. Scuff it up if that's what you have. Alright? Warm the piece of pipe. Okay? Okay? Just warm it up. We're not trying to heat it to where it's melting or where it's turning funny colors. Just warming it up. Okay? Now here in upstate New York, it's like 5 degrees right now, so it's and there's no heat in my shop, so everything's a little stiff. So we're going to warm up this flux here on this brush a little bit. All right, and then we're going to paint with the flux. All right, it's nothing special. This is like a couple of bucks at the hardware store kind of deal, and it'll last you forever. I mean, this little tub here we're talking about. Number 5 flux. All right, lead free. That's what we're talking about. OD. All right. So then we have our fitting, right? Okay. You see what I'm doing here? Just barely getting it in there, loosening it up. This would be a brand new fitting, all right? But mine I just separated for the demonstration here because this is an old piece of fitting and an old piece of pipe, all right? So what we're going to do is balance that precariously, okay? We'll go like this, okay? Put some flux in there. All right, I'm going to slip this on there, okay? And it's not going to fit, you see? Alright, the reason why is because we didn't clean out the old solder out of this. Alright, so that's something we're going to have to do. Alright, the little tool that works the best for me is a Dremel tool, okay? Can't hurt anything. Alright? Nothing spectacular. Just clean the junk out of it. Alright? This time of year, I'm telling you, everything's stiff and not very pleasant to work with. Alright. Let me get this. Fit it on there. Still don't want to go. So, a little bit more. Alright. Let's say it ain't rocket science. Kind of fitting it and go. You're going to fit this thing 100 times. If you're not using brand new stuff. You can reuse old fittings. It's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Alright? You can reuse old fittings. Like I say, this is what I got this old sandpaper for. What I got on hand without incurring costs on this. Here we go. Alright, see? Still not wanting to fit. We can make it. Alright? Take our Dremel tool. take any burr off the edge there. Sometimes that's part of the problem there. There we go. She's on. Alright. So we're going to take our solder. Alright. Keep a roll of solder in the house. If you're going to use it. Alright. It ain't expensive. It's like 15 bucks, 16 bucks at the hardware store right here in town. Not Home Depot, not Lowe's. I don't know what they call, what they charge there, but I typically find my neighborhood hardware stores usually cheaper than Home Depot or Lowe's. Alright, my neighborhood hardware is G&H Lumber right here in Cooksaki. I'll rep them. The main store in Greenville, they actually have a gun shop in the store. Right here in New York, still have a gun shop and a hardware store. Can you figure that? They sell guns right there. Bought my wife a nice little Mini 14 a while back. Alright, so the thing to do is heat both sides, okay? Alright, and then heat this, alright? What's going to happen is that heat from the torch is going to draw the solder into the joint. This ain't going to be pretty because I'm not very good at it. I'm not a plumber. Alright? Alright, but it's going to work. Alright? Like I said, I hadn't done this in a long time. Alright, this here. We're just wiping the solder around this joint. After we heated it up, alright, you're going to be like painting it into the crack. Okay? Roll out a little more solder. Go crazy with the solder. There ain't no shame in that. Alright? And if there's going to be a leak, it's not because you didn't try. Right? Not for want of solder, anyway. Alright? There we go. And that's how it happens. Alright, this ain't rocket science. You typically want to cool it off with water, but here's what happens to water around here. So, that's basically it as far as soldering goes. Alright, so that's the first thing. Alright, now the second part of this video is I'm going to show how to fit PEX. Alright, how to make PEX fittings. Alright, I know this ain't rocket science and it's any other thing, but as plumbing changes with technology, you know, it would help to have things. So you get a PVC cutter and you cut this. Okay, that's what it is. It looks like a pair of garden shears. If you haven't got a PVC cutter, you can absolutely use garden shears. It's just plastic tubing is all it is. Alright, this is really stiff because it's cold out, like I say. But anyways, see, this is a female to PEX, all right? A female solder on to a PEX fitting, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to slide our PEX on, right? The first thing you do is when you're going to have this on the roll, okay? This is ordinarily going to be on a roll. There's just a little scrap piece I cut off, all right? So here's our clamp, all right? You buy these in this big old bag. This whole big bag is, what's it, like 10 bucks? Something like that. Worth keeping them on hand, right? Especially if you're a new homeowner with an old house or you're building a new house, whatever. So anyways, right, you slip the clamp over the PEX tubing, all right? And they come in red and blue, all right? So you can differentiate between your hot and cold if you want to, all right? And it's 38 bucks for 100 feet of this. I mean, it's way cheaper than copper. Way cheaper than copper. Right? And the fittings are cheaper too if you use the Crimp-on fittings. If you use SharkBites, it gets expensive, okay? I have a SharkBite fitting here, and I can show you that in a second. All right, so what we do is we open the clamp way open, okay? This is the crimper, right? All right, this thing's not being cooperative here. So anyways, okay, we put the crimper on. Ooh, it's a pain in the rear end here. We only have one pair of hands. Alright, so there you go. You get started and grab a hold of it. Okay, then you just squeeze it closed. Okay, you want to leave a little bit at the end. Alright. And it's done. And that's how it happens. Okay. Like I say, this ain't rocket science. This is basic stuff. All right, this is really simple technology, and it works really well. And the cool part about PEX is you can still rotate the fitting, all right, without having it leak. All right. So then these are the SharkBites. Okay, the cool part about SharkBites, I don't want to open the package because it'll leave all little pieces, but there's a little grommet in here that you stick into the end of the PEX, and then you fit this in, all right, and you just push it in. There's nothing to do. But these are like $5 to $10 a piece, depending on what fitting you're buying. They come in valves, all kinds of things, and then you can fit this and then stick the copper pipe right into the other side without using the little grommet. The grommet is